Have you been struggling to submit your poems, your short stories to magazines? And there's been a lot of work managing all the submissions, trying to make sure you track the submissions so you don't end up submitting the poem you submitted to a magazine to another magazine and then face some legal issues. And really getting those feedback to know if your poem has been rejected or your short stories have been published or whatever. It's been hectic, especially if you submit to a lot of magazines and you write a lot. Now, today I'm going to share with you a tool that helps you manage your submission and makes everything easy for you. Let's get right into it. Now, the tool I talked about is Submittable. Now, what the hell is Submittable? Submittable is a website that helps you to manage your submissions. So, a lot of features, and we start with the Discover tab. Now, for the Discover tab, what you simply need to do there is go in there and type in what you like to submit. Let's say you want to submit poetry, you want to submit short stories, or you want to submit books or whatever. And it'll bring out a list of magazines that use Submittable that are looking for submissions for poetry, for short stories. And then you can go through all of them and see the one you like. And the amazing thing is this: you can filter those uh, results. You can filter according to those the deadlines are coming up. If you really want to submit now, it's really a matter of preference. If you really want to submit to a magazine with deadlines or a magazine with no deadlines. Personally, I think a magazine with deadlines will have limited submission because since it's a magazine with deadline, they don't accept submissions all year round, and so when they accept submissions, they're gonna get small submissions compared to if they have accepted submissions all year round. Now you can correct me, but that's what I think. So it's not really like it's fact based or whatever. It's just a thinking, and most times, but sometimes the thinking could be wrong. And the other thing is you can also submit by no deadlines, and you can also feature by fuse or no fuse. So if you don't like or you don't have the money to pay, because it's not paying for every magazine, so before you know you pay for 10 magazines, the money can really add up. And that's another question, another subject of another day. Should you pay or not pay for a magazine uh, to accept you, to submit your work to them? Okay. Now you filter according to submission, and then you see all the free submissions, and then you can choose whether you want to submit to that magazine, those magazines or not. Now, at the point in time, you might see a magazine that you love to submit to, you love the preference of the magazine, but they're not accepting submissions. So what can you do? You can follow the magazine. What does following mean? It means like every other social media channels where you get to follow celebrity or whatever person you like or every account you like. Same thing with the magazine. When you follow a magazine, whatever thing they post, whatever thing they talk about, you get to know. So sometimes when I see a magazine in a normal old way, what I used to do it is I see a magazine I love to submit to, and I'm like, wow, I'm submitting to this magazine. I write down in a note, and the thing is, I just forget. There are a lot of notes before you know that notes get filled, another note gets filled, and then I forgot that I even wrote something there. But what I know is just I need to do one thing: submittable, and it manages all the database of my submissions for me. It tracks everything. Now, the next thing you need to do is one amazing thing is this: when you start following and then following and then following magazines and then following magazines, uh, it can really get bulky and then no sense of organization. And once there's no sense of organization, we go back to the same problem we're running from, which is what the confusion, the mess of hectic work we had submitting our works to magazine. Now, how does this work? If you write poetry and you write short story and you submit poetry and you submit short stories and you're like, I want to part these things up. I want to have my poetry so go to this magazines. I want to have my short story go to the magazine. Simple. You just label all the magazines that you want to go into poetry as poetry, and then you label all the ones you want to go as short stories, and then it's easy for you to classify. But that's a bit generic. Let's say you want to go deep down, and in writing poetry, you feel like okay, let's say we have themed submissions or themed magazines or magazines for LGBTQ, or magazines for queer magazines, and you're like, okay, this magazine is a queer magazine, so I write queer poetry for them, and then these magazines are I could write general, I could also write queer, but they're different, and then you list all of them, and it makes it easier for you to really organize, and then you go, okay, I have a piece of work that's about nature, and there are five nature magazines I'll submit this poem today. This is it. When you submit a magazine that is highly targeted, so or submit a poem or whatever piece of work that's highly targeted to a magazine, it's easier for them to look at the work in its intrinsic value and not have that sense of what I call it what word would I use now? Discrimination against your piece of work. So they get to look at it well, not necessarily. Very well. And that saves you a lot of time. It makes everything organized. You can really deep go drill down depending on your needs and what kind of magazines and sense of organization you want. You can really label with anything you want. It's up to you. Yeah, the ball is in your court. Now another feature I found is the magazine. Sorry, Submittable. I don't know why I keep saying magazines. A Submittable is you can save a particular list. Now, when you save a magazine, when you search in the discovery tab and then you find the magazines you like. Now, of course, Submittable is not just for magazines, but I'm just talking about it because majorly most of my audience want to submit your works to literary magazines. But Submittable takes submissions from grounds, from books, from context, and name it. They take submissions from a whole lot, and this is it. At first, I felt like, okay, what if this magazine is not using Submittable? Most of the big names are using Submittable. Granta, they're using Submittable. So yeah, you're not gonna feel like you left out using Submittable. Now the amazing thing about now is this: when you save a particular magazine, it's different from following. Why? Because when you save magazines, you get to see them. Okay, okay, so this is magazine I loved at that moment. Now I have a work to submit to them. And so some people actually find magazines before they write a piece of work for the magazine. While some people have a work and then they write for the magazine and then submit, look for a magazine to submit to. Whichever way you're doing, it's up to you. But if you're doing the other way where you find the magazines and then like, okay, this magazine is like this, and you write something on the magazine, then if you did not save the magazine, you might forget the name and then start going through again. But if you save the magazines, you're like, okay, easy, check this one out, check this one out, check this one out, and wonderful. Now, before I continue with the advantages of the functions and the uses, really the features of Submittable, I'd like to mention this that Submittable is free for writers. Now, except you are a literary magazine or a contest, or you're thinking of using Submittable as a way to take submissions from your students or from a contest you're holding in your city, that's when you get to pay. So only the person who is taking the submission is paying. Oh, does that sound confusing? Not really. Does it? I don't know. But if you're a writer and you have a work to submit, it is absolutely free, no hidden charges. Now, of course, when I say absolutely free, there are some magazines that take submission fee. That's not Submittable's business. It's the magazine. They're the ones taking the money. So when you pay, don't feel like you're paying for Submittable. You're paying the magazine. So, but Submittable will help them collect the money. So Submittable is like a system to manage. It's both help you to manage your submission as a writer, and they'll help the literary magazines to collect submissions. Excuse me, to collect submissions. Now, I'm getting to the secret hack. Yeah, I'm getting to the secret hack. There are a lot of other functions, a lot of other features. And one of them is this: you can have a custom term cover letter, and whenever you submit, it just pulls it up and put it there. It saves you a lot of time. So you can spend 15, 20, 1 hour customizing a cover letter, and when you submit, it just automatically fills it in for you. Now, getting to the secret hack, I think we should go for a break, and then we'll come back. We'll take the secret hack. Now, I did promise a secret hack you can use Submittable. Now, I heard of a term called simultaneous submissions. Now, a lot of magazines accept some simultaneous submissions, and some don't, but a lot of them accept, and they would state it clearly that they accept and they do not. If they do not, don't do simultaneous submission with the magazine. But if they do, of course, you got to play the dance and play the rhythm. What do I mean by that? I don't even know. Okay, okay, but what simultaneous submission is this: instead of submitting a piece of work to one magazine within 6 months, and then they tell you like, your work is not right for us. I understand. And in 6 months, I had to wait for a magazine. Just one poem, 6 months. What if I submitted that same poem to 40 magazines? Wait, but I'm going to get crazy. How am I going to manage everything? Yeah, you can organize each submission to one magazine and get to customize everything. It helps you to keep track of it. And so if you submit it to 20 other magazines, now most times there are two things that cause rejection of your work. First, your work is not good enough. Yeah. Now the other reason is okay. Before I get into the reason, when your work is not good enough, it doesn't necessarily mean that. Uh, of course, you have to edit and polish and make some things, work on the grammar and remove some of the cliches and the tropes and all that. But there are a lot of works in the literary magazines. They're not necessarily the great. You see some errors and all that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Depends on the taste of the magazine. And then the other reason why your work might be rejected is because you your work is not just right for the magazine. It's not what they want. It's not necessarily because your work is not good. There are a lot of books like that we rejected. Lord of the Flies by William Golding, one of the one of his best works ever written, was rejected 22 times. Yeah, and when it was published, it was it is a classic now. Yeah, but it was rejected. Yeah, yeah, it was not right for them. So it didn't mean that the work was bad. Why knows most times we all want to comfort ourselves and say, ah, yeah, Yemichi said something. He said, my work is not right for them. Yeah, that's why they rejected it. Sometimes you just have to see and say, how can I make my work better? Yeah, how can I make it better? What can I learn? And that's why it's really great if you have a magazine that can give you personal feedback, but not all magazines can. So you already know why they rejected your work. Is it because of the grammar? Of course, I could fix that. Is it because the story is not what they want? Okay, okay, I know that. Okay, that's different. So you really can improve on yourself. But Simon's submission, it's imagine you write 5 works and then you send to 10 different magazines. I wouldn't go too big because if you go too big, it's that'll be you would have to manage uh a lot. But you send 5 magazines to 10 magazines, that's 50 submissions. So 10 each week. What am I saying? You send 5, that's 50. Wait, my mathematical skills, where are you? It's like 5 times 10, that's 50. 50, 50, 50, 50 into 5 places. That's 250. That's like submitting to 250 magazines. And though it's not really in the volume game, if you really spend time on your work and you send to 250 magazines that you have gone through, not just mass submitting, but going through and asking yourself, is this magazine right for my work? Looking at some of the guidelines, looking at the piece of work that has been written in the magazine that has been published, and saying if it has the kind of taste of your work, and then submitting to the magazines. 250 magazines, I think you have higher chances. Not necessarily that you get published, you have a higher chances that your work will get before different eyes, and you really might find someone who likes your work. Yeah, and I think we've come to the end of the show, and I'm really excited to having a conversation with you today, and I would love to hear from you. So I'd advise you go to bewriting.com/contact and leave a message for me or whatever suggestions or questions you want me to talk about, whatever things you want me to cover. Uh, yeah, just drop a message for me and I would cover it. And if when I cover it, I'll make mention of your name. Uh, thank you for listening. And make sure you subscribe to whatever platform you're listening from so you don't get to miss a show from me every week. An episode from me every week. I don't know why I'm saying a show, but an episode from me every week. And until next time, keep writing, keep living. Peace.